Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why she wants, if you do this one thing, she'll be a lot more interested in you than if you weren't able to do it. And why it'll be a little bit more effective when you go on, let's say, no-fap. The thing is, when you go on no-fap, every single interaction that you do is amplified to the max. Every interaction that you do is more meaningful than the rest. Everything you look at starts looking. See, the thing that tends to happen when you go on no-fap, or let's say semen retention, when you made the conscious decision to retain, that excess semen, that excess energy literally gets absorbed by your body. It gets reabsorbed by your body. That's why your face might look more vibrant, your acting might clear up, your voice might get deeper, your hair might get fuller, and you might just be an overall more attractive person when you go on no-fap/semen retention. That excess semen gets absorbed, and that's why fapping really hinders your ability to become the best version, because if you're constantly just letting that excess go, you're gonna be dull, you're not gonna have any energy, you're not gonna have any enthusiasm for life. You're pretty much gonna be a shell of your real self. You're gonna be a very mediocre version. You're not gonna be your best version because you keep letting life energy spill out for 2, 3, 4 minutes of pleasure. Pleasure leads to poverty. If you keep consistently giving yourself pleasure, consistently giving yourself comfort, being in your comfort zone, never taking any risks, never taking any chances, never doing anything different, you're gonna get a very mediocre result. And I mean, if you're okay with mediocre, if you're okay with average, then I mean, that's your life. But for the people who want something a little bit more and are a little bit looking for more, something maybe even more extraordinary, it would be your best interest to retain and go on no-fap, because that excess energy, like I said, reabsorbs into your whole body. It even shoots up to your brain, which makes you a little bit more intelligent. You get more, you get better insight, more insight from the Most High, and your problems are solved a little bit more. You have to start thinking from a perspective of someone who already has what you want, or someone who's already done something that you've done. Also, women tend to go for the guy who's a little bit more mysterious. This is a very big, let's say, turn on for women. If you can show that you're a very mysterious person, and you can show her if she has to think whether you like her or not, then you're pretty much gonna be living rent-free in her head, and that's a very good place to be if you really like her. That's a very good place to be. You're gonna be rent-free, because a lot of guys, they're gonna show their cards very quickly, and if she has nothing to figure out, if she has nothing to chase, then it's not gonna be as fun for her, and she might move on. Because the thing is, women and men have different attraction triggers. Men are more attracted to, let's say, what men are more attracted to how a woman looks like, but women are more attracted to how a man makes her feel and what he kind of says. They're attracted to what they hear. They're attracted about what emotional triggers that man can push in her to make her feel a certain type of way. If she's not feeling anything when she's around you, then she's gonna overlook you. So start being more interesting. You actually have to have an interesting life. It's the only way you can convey some sort of interest and mystery, so you can actually be attractive to said person that you want to attract. There is a correlation between having a passionate and interesting life and attracting interesting women. Because you're actually doing something, you're actually becoming someone who is of value. You're being someone who is of value, and this is translating through your physical experience. Now, like I said, being mysterious is literally the best way for you to get her interested in you. At the beginning, you show some interest. You might compliment her. You might look at her in the eye. You might banter with her. You might say some witty things. You might tease her and play with her a little bit. And like I said, all of this becomes a lot more easier to do if you've been putting in work. It becomes easier to do if you're retaining, because the tension is there. If there's no sexual tension, then there's really nothing to talk about. You might as well just write her off. She might as well write you off into the friend zone, because you're not giving her anything to. You're not giving her anything to want. There has to be sexual tension there if you really want her. If you want it to be something more of a relationship or something like that. There has to be something there. You have to offer her something. You have to be a catch. You have to be a catch. Yeah, so like I said, and also like if you go on NoFap, like I can't. There's actual people in the world who think that NoFap. There is no correlation between fapping and getting women and not fapping and getting women. There is a big direct correlation. There has to be. It only makes biological sense, because if you're trying to procreate, you're gonna obviously have seminal fluid that you're basically waiting to ejaculate and fertilize with that female egg. But if you don't have any of it because you've did it yourself and you basically release that energy on, let's say, your bed sheets or yourself or something like that, then there really is no point into trying to create something of a chemistry between her, because you don't have anything. You're not doing your part. You don't have anything to give the woman, because you've already kind of released it. And like I said, the best, if you want something more extraordinary in your life, your best interest is to retain it, and is to retain, because it absorbs. Once it hits that cycle, it reabsorbs in your body. It shoots up through your brain. It just makes you very more attractive. It makes every single interaction that you have with anybody a lot more significant. You're not dull. You're more of a let's say, appealing person to people in general, because it looks like you're on a mission. Women are attracted to the man who don't really give them, who look like they're on a mission. They're onto something. They're figuring something out. They're doing something. They're offering value to people. They're not a yes man. They're not taking, let's say, an old idea and then making it their own. So yeah, I mean, if you want being the mysterious type of guy, not showing her cards, not showing your cards too much is a good thing. Like, you have to be if you're talking to her, she has to be doing a lot more of the talking. She has to be doing a lot more of the talking than you are. You have to get it to a point where she's asking you questions. You want to get to the point where she's saying things like, I feel like you know so much about me, but I know nothing about you. This is a good thing to do. The thing is, a lot of guys just like to the first mistake they do is, if they're trying to attract, let's say, somebody, and let's say they're on Instagram or something like that, they have normal conversations over Instagram or text message. And that really just destroys everything, because you're revealing way too much about yourself, and it's not even a face-to-face interaction. It's over a screen. So the emotion and the vibes are not as much. Like I said, since everything may be like reopening up and stuff, it would be and you're really trying to attract like people and stuff, it would be in your best interest to be a lot more social and put yourself out there consistently until you really get what you want, because Tinder, all those dating apps, it really destroys the point. It really destroys the point because you're not putting your authentic self out there, because it's like behind a screen. And the thing is, what I noticed on those type of apps is like the really attractive women are not really on those apps. They're really not on those apps, or they might be, but like it's a lot harder for you to match with them and get them out in person on those apps, because they have tens and tens of hundreds of guys in their DMs. So like, you have to realize, like, why would she pick you instead of somebody else? And that's why you have to make it a priority to set yourself apart. You have to set yourself a priority to be apart from everybody else, because if you and Chad are doing the exact same thing, you guys look exactly the same thing, you're just literally kind of copycat. Why should she pick you over him? And this is where the big question is. There has to be something that's different about you. You want her to think that you're the guy. You want her to think that you're the guy. Like, you have a lot of things going on. And also, like, if she's on social media, if maybe you follow her on Instagram, but you guys just met, it would be in your best interest to post on your story. Because, like, the thing is, another thing that doesn't really make sense is people have Instagrams, they have social medias, but they don't post anything. All they do is watch other people's stories, and they don't post anything on their stories. Or if they do post something in the blue moon, they post things that aren't really that interesting. And you're really defeating the purpose of social media, and you're not using it to your advantage if you do things like this. You have to start maybe cultivating. You have to get it to the point where, let's say, on your stories, she kind of figure out who you are by the things you kind of post. But if you're not posting, or if a lot of things are just very uninteresting, then she's gonna get bored and she's gonna look for something else. Women's attention spans are very small. There has to be something that you do that makes you stand out, and then you have to get her curious. The best thing is for her to be curious about you. So you really have to be more interesting. And not posting on your Instagram, or not posting stories on your Instagram, is a very mediocre way of living, because I guess it's comfortable to not post because you might care what other people think. But the person who posts and shows their, let's say, maybe their authentic self on that social media, is going to get more followers, is going to get more looks from people who will make them more attractive in general. And the best thing is, if you're posting, people might have a set of ideas or beliefs that they might have painted about you before they see you in person. Then they're going to ask you questions, and then you're already going to be very attractive in social situations if they know you from social media. But like, a lot of guys just don't post on their Instagram, or they don't even have a profile picture up. They literally don't post on their stories, or maybe they post once in a blue moon, but they don't post anything interesting. And then they realize, they kind of question as to why they keep getting forgotten. Like I said, like, you got to be more interesting on these type of social media platforms, and you have to be very mysterious in a way. At the beginning, you're gonna have to chase her to a certain point. You're gonna have to get her to, let's say, hang out with you. But once you hang out, you get her on the second, third, fourth date, that's when you might have to pull back a little bit, and then you kind of do. It's a push and pull type of game. There's some days where you're showing her very attraction and you're validating her, and some days you're not even complimenting her or anything. You're treating her just like as another person. And this is going to be a very tug and pull in type of her tug and pull dynamic in her brain, because she's going to realize, is this guy into me, is he not into me? And like I said, if you can get her to think about you when you're not with her, that's when you pretty much have free rule in her head, and you can really get what you want, because now she's afraid to lose you because you're actually interesting and you might add to her life. So yeah, be mysterious, go there, be very maybe bold a little bit, and see how she might like you. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.